Did you see that shit? MMA podcast. Hosted by mixed martial arts journalist Mike Strauss, aka Strauss21, and Chicago's #1 underground comedian, Apollo Taj Mahal.
Hey, Mike.
What's up, bro?
Dude, did you see this shit?
What defecation are you referring to?
The entire shit show of this weekend. Holy UFC 223, Batman.
It was definitely a turd fest, huh? The whole week, man.
It wasn't a turd, because you know what, honestly?
The event was
the
decent.
event was good. Just this whole weekend was like the biggest emotional ride I have ever been on. I was sad, then I was happy, then I was sad, then I was disappointed, then I was angry, and then now I'm in this weird space of peace.
Yeah, it was a fucking incredible week, man. It was just
Oh my
highs
gosh.
and lows, and it was exhausting to keep up with all the breaking news just from my couch. I can't even imagine what it was like being at the Barclays Center or being
Oh my
in
God.
Brooklyn trying to cover that, man.
This is why I'm happy I'm not a real reporter, because this,
Yeah.
because you actually write. How do you sum up this weekend? In your own words.
Despite McGregor's best efforts to try to steal the thunder or crash the show, the UFC did an admirable job at salvaging the show, and Khabib had a very solid performance given all the bullshit that was surrounding him.
Yeah.
I think those are my initial thoughts, and I would kind of sum them all together because I definitely think you got to mention McGregor.
Yeah.
The fallout from it, all the repercussions. You got to mention Khabib. And the UFC did a
Yeah.
bang-up job. They really did.
And I want to say thank you, Ally Quinta, for stepping up, taking the monster that it is Khabib. And if anybody's seen my Twitter, Apollo T. Mahal, I have been talking about the fight and what my views were on the fight of Khabib and Ally Quinta. I just think, can you imagine if Raging Al had a full training camp?
It'd be interesting. We're going to get into that in just a second. Before we get into UFC 223, before we break down those main card fights, let's talk about the week that was. You know, I mentioned McGregor, but it all started April 1st, Easter, with Tony Ferguson.
Those damn sunglasses.
He tears his knee up when he is doing some PR work at Fox Studios. So in comes Max Holloway on 6 days' notice. And there was speculation from jump that he wouldn't be able to make the weight, but, you know, he tried. And, well, I guess the New York State Athletic Commission deemed him medically unfit to continue to cut weight and compete. So
Makes sense.
he goes the morning of weigh-ins, and then it becomes a mad scramble because at that point, Anthony Pettis had already weighed in, and Paul Felder had already weighed in, and so had Al Iaquinta. Anthony Pettis and Al Iaquinta both weighing in 155.2. Paul Felder actually hitting 155 even. This is going to come up later. That's why I mentioned that. So Holloway falls out. Then all the speculation just starts, boom, going rampant. All these fighters are putting their name out into the hat. Al Iaquinta is very aggressive right off the bat trying to get this fight. Paul Felder's name is in there. But the name that really surfaces first from all this is Anthony Showtime Pettis. Former lightweight champion.
Yeah.
Seems legitimate. He's already had a hard camp preparing for a guy in Michael Chiesa,
Yeah.
who was a highly ranked fighter. So it seemed like it would be a decent match here for
Makes
Khabib.
sense ranking-wise and name recognition-wise, by the way.
However, I guess Anthony Pettis asked for more money, and I'm not going to fault the guy. I think
Makes sense.
he should probably make more money for that fight, right? Well, I guess the UFC didn't feel he was worth whatever he asked for, and they countered with actually less money. So that fight's off. Okay.
Wow.
And the reason why that fight was off was because Anthony Pettis' original opponent, as I said, Michael Chiesa, well, he got glass in his eye as collateral damage from Conor McGregor's rampage. So that was that situation. So the next name that pops up, Paul Felder. Okay,
It makes sense. I can make a case he's a top 15, top 10 guy.
Oh, absolutely. And I think Paul Felder is a guy that I've had an eye on for quite some time.
Oh,
Just
dude.
the way he fights, man.
You put me onto him, and I think I'm pretty up on people. You've been on his hype train this whole time. I don't even think it's hype. He's just good.
Oh, he's an incredible fighter. And the rankings that you brought up, those are going to come up right here because Paul Felder was the next guy to go. And this was a fight that people were clamoring for. We didn't even know we wanted it, really, until it got brought up. And they were like, okay, Felder versus Khabib, this could be fun.
That makes some kind of coolness. I'm
absolutely.
interested.
Well, turns out the New York State Athletic Commission will not let Mr. Felder fight because he is not ranked high enough. Well, he's not ranked at all, so he can't fight. First time this has ever came up in MMA. This is...
Rewind the tape. Back when I've been saying from episode 1, I hate these rankings. They need to go because they are stopping awesome matchups.
They really came back to fuck them here.
Yes, I understand why they did the ranking system to begin with, but it makes no sense. Allow independent media to rank the people like they did before, and that was a fun way of doing it because you had an even representation of all the champions, not just UFC, and that is the problem with the ranking system. And I'm going to say this, that fight could have been fun, but a fight that did happen that, in my opinion, was the funnest matchup and what I mainly wanted to see was my boy, Raging Al.
Yeah, so after the commission said Felder couldn't go, the next option was Raging Al, the guy that I had said earlier on was the most vocal from Jump Street.
It made more sense to go with Paul Felder because he hit 155 on the dot.
As we mentioned earlier, Iaquinta and Pettis both were on the .2, so right away, that's not championship weight.
Yeah, so go with the guy with championship weight.
Now, Dana White said the commission went as far as to weigh his underwear, and they weighed .2, so Dana said that if Iaquinta did win, he would be the real champion, but then the commission said no. It was a big, crazy shit show still. However, that never came up because Khabib ended up winning. So before we do get into it real quick, as we mentioned, some of the fights that got called off, and because of Iaquinta taking the fight with Khabib now Paul Felder, he all of a sudden no longer has an opponent. So that is another fight that got canceled. And then Ray Borg versus Brandon Moreno didn't happen either because Ray Borg had glass in his eye.
Anthony Pettis didn't fight anybody either.
No, Anthony Pettis didn't either. So that's both Duke Rufus's guys. You have Anthony Pettis and Paul Felder, two Duke Rufus's guys that went through full camps that didn't fight anybody. Very shitty.
That's how many fights now? There was 3. So that's 5 fights from this card taken away from us, if I'm correct.
Well, there's the Felder Iaquinta, Pettis Chiesa, Ray Borg, and Brandon Moreno.
Okay, so that's 3 fights.
Because of Conor McGregor. And then Artem Lobov and Alex Caceres.
So that's 4 fights that were taken away from us. And by the way, I am a fan of Artem Lobov, even though I'm not a fan of his actions or I just his fighting style. I always thought he was fun. I don't think he's great. I just think he's fun. For that fight to even be gone, because I was kind of interested in that fight. So this whole weekend was crazy. And disappointing. Very disappointing. I'm disappointed in a lot of things from this weekend, but still great fights.
All right, so let's real quickly break down the main card here. Khabib versus Iaquinta. Khabib takes a unanimous decision, and then he got kind of a lot of grief. Rogan was highly critical of Khabib in the 3rd and 4th round when the fight remained standing. What did you think of Khabib's performance, and what did you think, maybe more importantly, of Al's performance?
I can't judge it. It's kind of the same way Daniel Cormier versus Anderson Silva. He's had basically 2 people who he was supposed to fight, and then a 3rd person that came out the day before. I think he did enough to win, but we really need to understand the emotional preparation that you put into an opponent, and then just to switch out twice, actually 3 times on you. I don't expect your best performance. He did enough to win. Raging Al is no joke. He's a great wrestler, and he got dynamite in his hands. You can't play around with him. So,
yeah, I'm a fan of Al. I'm a fan of Khabib. I thought the fight was good. I thought it was entertaining. Again, I thought the UFC did a really good job of putting this fight together. Al is no joke, as you mentioned. Al's performance is going to do nothing but help his stock.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of those instances where a loss is really going to help his career. People were really critical of Khabib. As I mentioned, Rogan was. A lot of other people were. The one thing I don't agree with is people were saying Al Iaquinta really showed holes in his game. I don't really think so, because to me, he didn't do anything different than Michael Johnson did.
Yeah.
We all know Khabib can get caught on his way in.
Well, because that's how he fights.
We know that. Now, having said that, Al Iaquinta caught him with some really nice shots, but I don't think Al really proved anything that we didn't know. I think Khabib's kryptonite is a guy a la Chuck Liddell, someone who can use his wrestling to keep the fight standing, someone that has very good high-level wrestling that can use it in reverse like that, but also someone who has very lightning quick one-punch KO power. A lot of people would say that sounds like McGregor.
Yeah, well, Eddie Alvarez.
Minus the defense.
Yeah, Eddie Alvarez did say that he's his kryptonite. He could make a case, but honestly, he did say that about McGregor too. Mm-hmm. And I'm always a guy like, if we can pull up tape of you getting starched after talking smack, then stop talking smack.
Yeah, we'll see what's next for Khabib. It's going to be fun. How about Rose Namajunas defending her championship belt for the first time against former champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk?
I don't understand why there's controversy with this fight. Joanna said she didn't agree with the scorecard. A lot of people had her winning. Okay. Our very friend Jake Smith had her winning. I watched the fight, and I'm going to say this. You cannot expect to win a close fight if you're the challenger. Stop feeling that you can win a split decision in a championship fight. If you want to be the champ, you have to beat the champ.
That was a unanimous decision.
It was a unanimous decision, but Joanna said she thought she won by split. She was going to win by split. If you're going into a fight with that mindset, you lost. Especially a championship fight.
I don't think she went in with that mindset. I think that's what she was asked afterwards, and she said she thought she had won by a split. I don't think she does. Yeah. I don't think she goes in thinking she's going to take a split decision.
Well, then she talked about the striking differential and all that stuff.
That's true.
It is very true. I'm just under the mindset if I'm going in there to fight the champion, I need to take them out. And if I believe it in the judge's scorecard, I cannot be mad about what happened.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part. I agree that if you are the challenger and it's a close fight, you should not expect to win a decision.
No.
However, I watched this fight, as I did every fight on this card.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, watching this fight live, I thought Rose won. And then I rewatched it, and I wasn't so sure anymore.
I'm the same way. I said what I said to explain my thought pattern why I'm like, Rose won, that's it. Mm-hmm. But when I did watch it again, I'm on your train on that.
Joanna outstruck the shit out of her.
Yes.
I mean, almost 30 or 40 more significant strikes.
Ridiculous.
I don't understand why judges in the United States don't seem to understand how to judge jabs and leg kicks.
And I want to ask you this. Mm-hmm. This is always a debate. Yes, you can jab me all day, but are you really doing damage with that jab?
I think you are.
In a lot of cases there are, but there's cases where you see guys do pitter. This is very popular in boxing, not very much in MMA.
Right.
But boxing, they will Floyd Mayweather, he would just pitter pat,
right.
pitter pat,
point
pitter
you
pat.
to death.
Yeah, I'm wondering, did you want to hit enough? What's a significant strike? Is Rose still able to go after her?
It's subjective.
And that's where it's tough.
But Joanna still, however they want to cut it, it goes.
She leg kicked the shit out of her.
And she had more significant strikes by almost 40. So, yeah, I'm having a hard time. Again, this is a weird one because when I watched it live, I had no problem with Rose winning. But when I rewatched it, I think Joanna won. And dare I say, do they need to run this back again right away? I mean, I don't
think right away. I think
I don't think they're gonna either.
I think Rose go face Carolina
Kowalkiewicz.
Yes, I think she should go fight her. Joanna should go get.
I think she's gonna get Andrade.
Really?
That's what it sounds like.
Oh, I would think it'd be great for Rose to avenge a loss, but if that's what they do that. But I think Joanna should go have another fight and then come back because I think there's no one in the division that can beat Joanna. And I think Joanna can legit, besides Rose, no one in the division can beat her besides Rose. If Joanna has another decisive win, she gets a win under her belt decisively, I think you can make another case for Joanna versus Rose 3.
Real quick before we move on to the next fight, I agree with you. I don't think there's anybody else in the division that can beat Joanna. But here's the thing. I do think there's other people in the division that can beat Rose.
Oh, yeah. I think there's
I think Andrade may beat Rose. However, I think Joanna, she already beat Andrade. She beats her every time.
Yeah.
So styles really do make fights. It's going to be interesting to see how that happens.
I'm very interested.
How about Renato Moicano? He really took it to Calvin Kattar. I thought this fight lived up to everything I thought it was. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was a candidate for fight of the night. There was just too many good fights on this fight card. But Moicano really coming through against a super tough Calvin Kattar here. And then the gentleman that everybody is talking about on this Monday morning, Zabit Magomed Shapirov. He went to war with Kyle Bochniak took a unanimous decision win. Did you get a chance to see Magomed Shapirov?
I watched highlights. I did not get a chance to watch the full thing.
I posted some too on my Twitter at aka Strauss21.
He was the one with the crazy kick.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
He is a featherweight.
Yes. So
6'3".
Wait, hold up.
6'2".
When I watched it, I didn't know he was a featherweight.
Oh, he's a featherweight.
I watched that. All right, so when I watched that fight, I was like, wow, look at this middleweight. Beat the crap out of somebody.
Yeah. No,
Man, that's a small middleweight. Like, I was really at 6'3". How?
Yeah, another Dagestani.
God, these Dagestanis are crazy.
Except this guy isn't training with AKA
Who's he training with?
Mark Henry.
Holy fuck. These Dagestan bastards going to take over the world.
Amazing, bro.
I'm scared of all of them. He's a freaking featherweight?
Yeah. And Bochniak really showed his toughness, too, by sticking in there. But did you know that Magomed Shapirov actually translated in Dagestani means tall, skinny, bad motherfucker?
I hope that's true. I have no evidence to back that up, so I'm going to believe you. That's going on my Twitter and Urban Dictionary. You're not even going to know.
And then the curtain jerker on the main card, Chris Gritzmacher versus Joe Lozon.
Joe Lozon's the best.
He was at one time, yeah.
I know.
This is a case,
Joe.
I think, of just too many wars, man, because Gritzmacher finished the job on him.
I didn't want to believe it, okay? I was trying to act like it didn't. He is the bonus king, so
He was, yeah.
just Joe Lozon is still the best. Represent Boston.
Gritzmacher put it beating on him bad, man. Both of Lozon's eyes were like almost nearly closed in between 2 and 3. The corner stopped it.
When I saw the pictures, I didn't want to watch the fight after I was hearing that he was getting beat up because I am such a fan. And it's when you become a fan of a guy since like you're a kid, it's hard to watch him take a whooping like that.
Also on the undercard, real quick, Carolina Kowalkiewicz defeated Felice Herrig in a very close split decision. Olivier Aubin-Mercier defeated Evan Dunham via TKO in round 1. Ashley Evans Smith bested Beck Rawlings by unanimous decision, and Devin Clark beat Slow Mike Rodriguez unanimous decision. And we should have Devin Clark on in the next couple episodes or so.
Woo-hoo.
So, if you have not figured out yet, you are listening to the Did You See That Shit Mixed Martial Arts podcast. I am Mike Strauss, aka Strauss21, alongside the man, the myth, the legend, the ninth wonder of the world,
Apollo Taj Mahal at Apollo T Mahal. And guess what? We are the fastest growing podcast out there. You guys don't even know. You can find us everywhere at iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, which is super cool because I just found out about TuneIn Radio. And then also you can cut it all out and just go straight to our website at didyousee.shit.com. We have everything there from our interviews and all that fun stuff. You can also reach us at, give them the number, man.
708-669-4777, or shoot us an email, Mike at didyousee.shit.com, and be sure on social media to like us, follow us, love us, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. It's really all the same, guys. DYSTSP. Put a little underscore in between there. Look for an orange smiley face with poop in his eyes. That is us.
And Francis. Also, you guys need to join the team, just like our favorite, Leaks Pro Audio. Some of the best headphones in the game with the best cord, sound equipment, anything you need. Leaks Pro Audio has joined the team. Let them know what they can do with that, Mike.
Go to lyxpro.com for everything that you need, like Apollo said, whether it is microphones, headphones, stands, cables, soundproofing. They pretty much have it all, whether you're just a dude or you are like a dude. I don't know.
Also, if you have seen our live stream and you've been wondering why our headphones look so cool, they are the Leaks Pro Audio headphones. I absolutely love them. You can actually get a pair with promo code
Strauss21. Actually, you could receive 15% off your entire order as long as you have one of those headphones on there, yeah.
That's pretty nice. Guys,
Strauss21.
Use that code and go subscribe to us on YouTube, Missing Time Productions. Subscribe.
They have very awesome XLR cables. It's the only kind of XLR cables I buy, and I'm actually going to buy some white ones because they really pop.
Ooh, we're going to look real sexy on the live stream.
Check them out, leakspro.com. All right, Apollo. As we mentioned a little earlier, man, when all this shit kind of happened and everything was falling apart and Max was out, all these fighters started throwing their name out there, rightfully so, because closed mouth don't get fed, right? So, I get it. It makes sense. We said Iaquinta pretty much barked the loudest. So,
and even Stipe called out. I'm just saying.
Right. So did BJ Penn. I mean, it went pretty deep. But more realistically, Shane Burgos and Julio Arce, a teammate of Shane Burgos. They both were in this. I don't really think there was any legitimate talk about them getting it, but we did have legitimate talk with Julio Arce, and why don't we share our little conversation with everybody?
All right.
Here's Julio Arce.
Right now, I want to introduce Julio Arce. He is a featherweight in the UFC. He has a record of 14-2, and well, he is in the UFC now. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just relaxing today. It's just a little crazy weather here in New York. You know, the snow's coming down hard, so just chilling.
Yeah, how much snow have you guys gotten?
Well, at first this morning it wasn't that bad. It was like a little drizzle, so I went up the train in Jersey, and then on the drive back, you know, then it just started coming down hard, started sticking. It's not as bad yet, but it's starting to pile up. I think it's like almost like, you know, an inch, 2 inches of snow.
Yeah, you know, snow is just one of those things where it's just it's a pain in the butt. You know, it doesn't shut everything down, but it just makes things a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
So,
it sucks.
Congratulations, man. I mean, the last time we spoke, it was right before the Dana White, the Tuesday Night Contender Series fight you had. How was that whole experience, man?
The whole contender experience, it was great. You know, what I loved about it was, you know, I was with my camp the whole time. Of course, it was a short notice fight. They called me up. You know, it was an opportunity I just had to take because it would be what kind of would catapult me into the UFC. And, you know, it was great. You know, I went out there, you know, got to visit the Performance Institute. Then fight week, you know, came back, kept training. Then fight week, flew back out there, and then, you know, just made result. You know, got to finish my opponent in the second round. And, you know, even though I didn't get the call, like, it just put me on the map. So it was great.
Yeah, it definitely puts you on everybody's radar. If people didn't know who you were already, they definitely did after the Contender Series fight. You know, it's funny, man, because I thought you fought very well. You won. I thought you fought good enough to earn a contract. But as you mentioned, it didn't work out that night for you. I talked to Shane Burgos right after that fight, and me and him both were very surprised that you didn't get the contract. Were you just as surprised as we were?
At first, I was very surprised because, you know, like, I got a finish. You know, it was over somebody that was, you know, he was also a prospect. He was very good, very well known. But, you know, like, I got the job done. And, you know, I felt like I did it in great fashion. But then afterwards, I was just like, you know what? He's like, maybe I'm going to get there a different road. You know, some people get in there, you know, instantly. You know, some people, they have to take a longer road to get there. So I just kept my head up. I'm like, I'm just going to go back to training, stay ready for anything. And then when I heard about, you know, that Charles Rosa got hurt and he had to pull out of his fight in Boston, Shane pretty much, you know, messaged me, started going on Twitter, as well as my manager, Dave Fish, and they were like, yo, you know, take the chance. This person hurt, throw your name out there, and, you know, and go for it. And what happened? I ended up getting the call.
Wow, that's how that all came together. Very cool, man. I'm very glad they gave you that shot at UFC 220. Let me ask you, man, because you know, guys like you kind of mentioned it. Guys like you, certain fighters for whatever reason, you are 14-2. You've been through the trenches in the MMA world, man. So you know the UFC doesn't have really anything new to offer you in terms of that. There's a lot of guys that come into the UFC that have 3, 4, 5 fights. You've been there and done that. So why do you think it took so long for the UFC to finally wake up and realize that Julio Arce is a legit featherweight?
You know, I don't know. You know, like UFC, I'm guessing they see people maybe that are more exciting. They have exciting finishes, but then what happens? They go under the bright lights and they don't perform the way they should, and then it's like, you know, their fight career starts kind of going down. You know, like, I don't know what they look for, but like in my own mind, I was like, look, it's like my teammate Jimmy Rivera. He had a long road before they called him up, and now that they finally did, you know, he's fighting the top guys. He's aiming to be a champion. So the same thing, you know, I had to take my own road to get there, and I just had to trust the process, and eventually, you know, it came to me.
Yeah, all you guys at Tiger Schulman, man, it's fantastic to see that you guys are finally getting your due as a gym, and as well, you know, all your individual careers are starting to really blossom now too. So that's very cool to see. I know that you are active in social media. Where can everybody follow you at?
Everyone can follow me at Julio Arce 89 on Instagram, and then JArce TSMMA on Twitter. And yeah, just keep following my journey. Like I'm just looking to just be a great martial artist and just make it to the top, fight the best, fight the best of the best.
I definitely think you are one of the best, man. Is there any chance that we might get you at bantamweight ever again?
You know what? Like right now, it's like I've been keeping my weight low, just staying ready, just in case of anything. I'm staying in shape. But I kind of moved up for to have featherweight for a reason. I was fighting at bantamweight. My last couple of fights. The last 2 losses that I had was against Brian Kelleher, and it was at that point that my body was starting to get to that point where the weight cut was doing me more harm than good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm like, I don't want to worry about it. The fight shouldn't be with me and the scale. It should be, with me and that other person, and me training my skills to make myself better. It shouldn't be like, oh man, I got to be this weight by so on. I got to lose this amount. It's like I don't want to have to deal with that. And now, literally, for my last fight in Boston, weight was fine. It wasn't an issue at all. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just excited about the whole moment, and then that's it. Like weight cut's not an issue for me.
Yeah, I definitely think featherweight is a good place for you, man. And you're right. It shouldn't. The fight should not be between you and the scale. It should be between you and your opponent. And when it is that, you are very effective, sir. You're one of the best. And I'm glad to see that you're finally in the big show. And I can't wait for big things for you this year, man. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? The floor is yours.
Yeah, look, I just thank every single person that supported me through my journey. My family, my girlfriend, my teammates, my coaches, all my mentors, Tiger Schulman's, all my students in Bayside Tiger Schulman's and the whole Tiger Schulman's organization. Like everybody, was just behind me 100% from the moment I started. It's just been amazing. So it's been quite a journey, and now like we start this new chapter, and let's just look to get to the top. That's it.
Well, I want to thank you for your time, Julio. I can't wait to see what the UFC has planned for you, man. Let me know when there's a fight in the works, and we'll get you back on, brother.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. I'm looking to try and get on that Utica card, the Utica card, New York card with my teammate Jimmy Rivera, because he's fighting. He's the main event.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that'd be a great. That's shaping up to be a very good card, man.
Yeah, so I can't wait for that.
Well, thank you for your time, man. Take it easy.
Thank you for having me.
All right. As you can see, dude's ready for the UFC. He showed very well on the Contender Series when he was on it last summer, and he trains with a team of savages, Jimmy Rivera, Shane Burgos. He's ready. Tiger Schulman's. I can't wait to see what Julio Arce has to offer.
Definitely.
So I saw a funny tweet the other day. It was by Apollo T. Mahal. He said, just in case everybody forgot, Benson Henderson won a fight this weekend.
Yeah, that was hilarious because everybody's been talking about UFC. Not even MMA people were talking about Bellator 196.
How about it?
And I only saw one fight, the Benson Henderson fight. That's the only fight I actually watched on this card. I'm a huge fan of Benson Henderson and those giant legs of his. Mm-hmm. And
his toothpick.
He looked like classic Benson Henderson. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that was due to the matchup that he had, which maybe favored him a bit, or are we going to see a more revitalized Benson Henderson?
Who knows? It's fun to talk about, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bellator 196, Benson Henderson versus Roger Huerta happened last Friday from Budapest, Hungary, live via tape delay. We'll get into that a little bit more later. But, yeah, you mentioned it, man. Benson Henderson beats Roger Huerta via guillotine choke.
Yeah.
Round 2.
If everybody forgets who Benson Henderson was, he was one time the lightweight king. Mm-hmm. It seemed like there was really nobody who was going to take him out. Even at one point, I didn't think Anthony Pettis was going to take him out.
Yeah.
And when Anthony Pettis did, it made everybody believe more in Anthony Pettis as well and catapult him to stardom. That's how good he was. I'm wondering, are we going to see a return to form? Are we going to see him as one of the top lightweights or welterweights? Because we did think that for some time when he first went to Bellator.
Yeah, I think that Benson we'll get back to it. He had a rough bump. I don't think anybody should be discounting this win because Roger Huerta is a very talented fighter. The only thing is he got a one-fight deal on this, and it wasn't because of Scott Coker and Bellator not wanting to give him more, it was because he was kind of betting on himself. He said he was hoping that he could win this, catapulted into a big payday. I hope he does get another opportunity with Bellator because I do think he is worthy. I think he's a talented guy.
He's a good representation.
And this is a good win for Benson. And I think this is going to get him back on track. And then one of the reasons why they went to Hungary, a local product, Adam Borsis, he is a decent-looking prospect, man. I'll tell you, he defeated Theodor Nikolov via round 2, a flying knee, a KO. It was pretty nice. And then Denise Kieholtz, she beat Petra Kastelova via unanimous decision. And a shout-out to Mr. Easy Ed Ruth, who improves to 5-0. Penn State Wrestling in the house.
Dang.
So we mentioned live via tape delay. Bellator 200 is going to have this very same thing. I don't understand why in the year 2018, Bellator, owned by Viacom, a huge media conglomerate, why they cannot give it to us live. It makes no sense, especially when Bellator 200 is, by all accounts, their biggest card they've ever produced. And you're going to bring it to us in the States on a 3-hour or a 5-hour delay? Or that doesn't make sense, man.
I think they feel that they're going to get better viewers or something. I don't
They're
know.
going to get worse viewers. People are going to know what happens.
You can't.
Who wants to tune into a fight where you know what happens?
I'm not going to. I'm honestly not going to watch it. Yeah, I most likely will watch it. But you know what I mean? Like, am I going to have to go off social media? Like, we have social media now. Like, back in the day, you could do tape delay because I had to get the paper in the morning.
Right. Or, you got to make an effort.
Yeah. You cannot do tape delay in this day and age.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Man, I know what happens in the news faster than I know when to poop.
So UFC FOX 29, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje is happening this weekend. Just boom, boom, boom. We're in one of these stretches where they're just fight after fight. It's cool with me.
I love it. It's just a little exhausting.
So we're not going to have another episode until now and then. So we're going to have to go ahead and get our main card picks out of the way. So without any further ado, let's do our UFC FOX 29 picks here. We have the main event, Justin Gaethje, 18-1. That one losses, Eddie Alvarez, going against Dustin Poirier, 22-5.
I did no research. This is all heart talking, so no one can come back at me. And I am able to change my pick on Twitter, Apollo T. Mahal, if I choose to. But I am going to go with a Justin Gaethje on this fight. I just think Justin Gaethje is a guy that's just going to put a pace on somebody. And Dustin Poirier, I think he can keep up, but I don't know. Mm-hmm. This is a true test for Poirier.
So you're going Gaethje.
Yeah, I'm going Gaethje.
You know, my heart wants to go Gaethje here, but my head is telling me Poirier. I think, we've seen this time and time again where a guy goes very long in his career before he ever suffers a defeat or even, let's say, gets knocked out.
Yeah.
And then the switch gets flipped, as it did with Gaethje. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, but we've seen it time and time again where once that switch gets flipped, it's a lot easier to get flipped now. That's one thing that concerns me. As I said, I'm going to be rooting for Gaethje here. Okay, I'm a Gaethje fan, and I'm a Poirier guy too. But what I think is Poirier at this point in his career has been fighting higher level competition for a longer time. I think he's more well-rounded, and I think that Poirier will find a way to win. And I don't think he's going to engage in that style that Gaethje wants to engage in.
If anybody's going to engage in that, it's Dustin Poirier.
No. He's learned. He's not that same fighter that lost to Chan Sung Jung anymore. He's a smart fighter.
But he almost lost to Eddie Alvarez that way before the illegal knees. If you saw him, he was scrapping with Eddie.
Yeah, I don't see it. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
And the co-main event took a blow. It was Carlos Condit scheduled to go against Matt Brown, but Brown got hurt, so in steps the other cowboy, Alex Oliveira. Who do you like in this?
I'm gonna go Oliveira.
Why?
I hate to say this. I feel that Carlos Condit is not the same Carlos Condit that we saw against
Dong Young Kim. That was his best fight when he rushed him.
No, but even the title fight, last title fight. Sorry,
Diaz.
No. After that, Robbie Lawler.
Okay.
I don't feel like he's the same fighter that he was against Robbie Lawler.
A lot of wars.
Yeah, and he was retired twice, and I don't know if he's doing this for a paycheck or if he's if he's all the way back in. When I see a fighter retire multiple times, that's a problem.
Definitely a red flag.
Yeah, and going against a guy in Cowboy who is never not down to fight.
So you're going Oliveira.
Yeah, going Cowboy.
I'm going Alex Oliveira as well. I just think he's a monster. I think Cowboy Oliveira is one of those guys that doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He is truly a very, very hard out in that division. He is going to bring it. And as you mentioned a couple of the hot points there, I don't think Condit is the same fighter that he was a few years ago. I don't want to question his heart, but who knows? Who knows why he's doing this? Oliveira, I don't know if he's capable of having a boring fight. This is going to be a fun fight. I just think Oliveira is gonna get the better of Condit here. How about this one? This is going to be a fun woman fight. Michelle Waterson, the Karate Hottie, going against Courtney Casey. And trying to get Courtney Casey on the show. We're trying to figure out a day, probably after her fight, we're thinking. So what do you think of this fight?
I think Michelle Waterson has simmered down her fame a bit. Mm-hmm. You know, she got real big after that win against Paige Van Zandt. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we thought she was the next big thing. I think with her kind of coming off that fame a little bit, she did Dancing with the Stars, if I recall, right?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. Anyways,
I don't watch TV.
But it seems that this fight is an actual fight with no outside prior commitments, so she just gets to focus on training. I'm going to go with Michelle Waterson. I think this is going to be a resurgence of her career. She kind of has been in a lull a bit, so.
All right. I'm going to go Courtney Casey. I think she's tough as hell. I don't know if a lot of people really know who Courtney Casey is. I urge you to go watch some of her fights. Even the fights she comes out on the losing end, I mean, she brings it every time. And that's not taking anything away from Michelle Waterson. Michelle Waterson could easily win this fight. I think Michelle Waterson is probably a more polished overall fighter than Casey. For some reason, I feel like Casey's going to get the job done. We'll have to see, I guess. How about Krzysztof Jotko going against Brad Tavares?
I don't have a pick on this fight. That's just the honest truth. I hope it's good. That's all I care about.
Well, I do. I'm going to go Jotko. I just think he is one of those guys that is that next wave. Very young, very talented fighter. He has big power, and he's coming off of an up and down part in his career. And I think he's going to try to right that wrong. And he's going to do it against a guy in Tavares who, honestly, he's kind of peaked. You know, everybody thought Brad was going to coming off of tough. He was going to be one of those guys, but he never really took that next step. So I think Jocko will get it done here. And one of the fights on the undercard here that we're gonna talk about briefly, Israel Adesanya going against the Italian stud Marvin Vettori. What do you think of this?
I don't know. I don't have a thought on this. I actually really don't, and I feel bad.
That Israel Adesanya, he's very exciting.
He's exciting. Oh, I'm really excited to watch him fight, but it's not at the level yet where I have true thoughts on either one of their fighting styles.
Well, Vettori, I think this is a risky fight for Adesanya. I don't think many people are really giving Vettori too much of a chance, but I'll tell you, his grappling is really good. It's lights out. It's good stuff. And if Adesanya could have a weakness, it could be his ground game, given that he is a world-class striker. So that's going to be something to kind of keep an eye on. You know, the UFC really wants to try to build Adesanya the right way, but he has to get past Vettori this weekend. Just taking a look at some of the other fighters on the undercard here, man. Tim Boetsch, Wilson Reyes, Yushin Okami, Diego Lima, Shayna Dobler, Lauren Mueller. A lot of those people are former Ultimate Fighter fighters.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Competitors, yeah, it's a lot of them.
Anybody who says that Tough doesn't produce real fighters, man, they do. It's a legit show. If you want to see a guy up and coming, Tony Ferguson was on it.
Not only does Tough produce really good fighters, but so does the Tuesday Night Contender Series. I hope they bring that back. But another gentleman that actually won Tough, Corey Anderson. We had a chance to speak with him not too long ago.
Yeah, definitely.
Here's our conversation with Mr. Corey Anderson.
And I want to introduce Corey Beaston Anderson to the show. He's a light heavyweight, originally from Rockton, Illinois, but he has a big fight coming up against Patrick Cummings at Fight Night in Atlantic City. What is going on, man?
What up, Mike? Just hanging out. Just got home from training, relaxing to the next one.
Well, I appreciate you doing this, man. How have things been, man? You've been, not too much publicity as of late.
Things have been great. Been busy. Got married in February.
Congratulations.
So, that stuff. Thank you. Focusing on the details and training. Not doing nothing too crazy, nothing worth publicizing, but, staying busy as always.
That's all we can do. Man, of course, you won season 19 of Tough. You're very experienced. If you had an opportunity to do that whole Tough thing again, man, would you do it?
100%. It was a great lesson. I learned so much, not just from the coaches and fighting wise, but from different people who were on the show from different countries and had been in these fight games for so long. It was like kind of like an education in 6 weeks for me. So, I considered it as a vacation at the time being anyway. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, as I said, you won that competition. Really, you didn't face too much adversity. I mean, you were phenomenal in that competition. Patrick Cummings is your next opponent, man. What do you know of him?
I don't know. He's a wrestler. He's runner-up NCAA Division I runner-up from Penn State. He uses wrestling a lot. He doesn't focus too much on his hands. He throws punches to keep you busy, to open up for his shot, and he doesn't really throw any killer shots with his hands. So other than that, I just look forward to him trying to take me down a lot. But I have the wrestling background as well. I feel like I know that. I know his offense with my defense and possibly score for in bad position. And just do what I do. Push the pace.
That whole Atlantic City card it's a really good card, man. I'm really looking forward to it. I was looking at your Instagram, man. You're a big time watch collector. Look like Rockwell watches, is that?
Yeah. I'm a huge watch collector, but I met Rockwell, the owner of Rockwell, or I don't know if he's the owner or the president, who he is, but one of the head guys at Rockwell. I met him out in Vegas last weekend when I was out there training, and I was hanging out at the fights, and they hooking me up with watches, and now we talking back and forth, and they kind of sponsored me, I guess you can say, in a way. Hooking me and the wife up with some Rockwell watches to add to the collection.
I don't even want to know how expensive they were because I'm sure they're out of my price range. But no, I do want to know, what does an average Rockwell go for?
I know the athletic one that I wear, it was like around 119 or 130, something like that. I haven't looked too big into their site to see the prices they have, but I know a few people out here in Jersey who are like advertising for them. They got promo codes and whatnot, and I see them posting a lot. Some of them look kind of pricey. I still haven't looked into the site at all their prices. I've just been so focused on what I got going on.
Beautiful watches, absolutely beautiful watches, man. I saw that you're putting some time in with Nick Catone at Nick Catone MMA, huh?
Yeah, I've been working with Nick Catone for like 3 years now, on and off. But now, since it was like a year ago, we started working fully like with each other all the time, drilling. He's about my size. He's retired from the fight game, so he's coaching us. And to have someone like me his size, we can get in there, get in the cage, or get on the mat, and go with somebody. When you fought and you retire, you always got the itch to go again. So I kind of feel like he gets to fix his itch. He's going with me daily in the gym and training, and he's teaching me all the things he knows. So it's definitely great having him in my corner.
Someone else that you have in your corner, I saw David Branch, and when I saw that you posted that picture, I thought to myself, he's a really good guy to get to kind of replicate Patrick Cummings. They're real similar in size and rangy.
Branch is like the big brother to me. I've been working with Branch again for about 3 years, 4 years. I used to go up to Henzo Gracie, and he's there. We used to link up probably once a week back in the day. Now we're linking up 2-3 times. We're working. We both on the same fight card together. Working with Branch is great. He's a awesome striker. He was a boxer that got into MMA. He got really good wrestling. He's like a 3rd or 4th degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. So the ground game is legit. So I'm always picking his brain and learning things from him as well. I'm surrounded with a bunch of great guys out here in New Jersey. From Nick Catone, David Branch, Rex Harris, Carl Robinson, like lower level guys and higher level guys. I'm always learning something new, something different. And everybody is always willing to replicate somebody who you got to fight or help you out for your fight. And then they know when it's their time, when they fight come around, we'll do the same thing for them. So, just being out here in Jersey all around is just a blessing in a whole.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you mentioned all those guys, and then, of course, Edson Barbosa and Frankie Edgar, too. 2 more guys that you train with. What did you think of the Ortega and Edgar fight?
It was a heartbreaking loss. Frankie was doing well. And just, with him being short, he has to get closer for his strikes to land and put them in the range for that elbow to land.
I'm not supposed to play favorites, but Frankie is one of my favorites, one of my absolute favorites, and it breaks my heart because I just feel like that belt is going to elude him now at 145. He's such an amazing fighter, and I don't know. I feel like he sometimes he gets the shaft because he's such a company guy, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer, no doubt. You train with some of the best in the world, man.
Yeah, every day I train with these guys that's been champion or that are champions. I had Fred and Tom today, helping me prepare for flight to Mill Jones, 2-time college national champ wrestler. And like I was telling him, like when we get to the gym, it's a small gym, but you're gonna see a lot of big name guys. And sure enough, we got in there. We had Eddie Alvarez, Edson Barbosa, Marlon Morales. So I counted, it was 7 UFC guys in the room at the time.
Wow.
And, that's not even all of them. Saturday we had 13 UFC guys, from these new wrestlers that's up and coming to Frank Yeager to people. They just travel from Jersey, PA, New York. They just come to Nicky Thomas on Saturday because they know that's where the best will be. The best in the East Coast meet up there on Saturdays as far. So to beat the best, you got to train with the best to beat the best, and that's how we do it every day.
For sure. Even a snowstorm couldn't keep you down. I saw that you tweeted with Mark Henry. You guys had that snowstorm, and that didn't stop you guys, You
it didn't stop me at all. Pulled the truck out, put the car away. We got to get to practice. And that's what it was.
Well, I appreciate you doing this, man. Is there anything else you'd like to add? The floor is yours.
I just want to thank all my supporters, everyone who follow me, hate on me, or watch my Instagram post, like, or comment. Everything helps, everything motivates. Everyone that's been with me from the get-go, I appreciate it. Those that doubted me, keep doubting me, still coming. And I was telling somebody the other day, I'm young in the fight game, so all these downs right now, the 2 fights are not putting me down. It's just a loss from the record, but I learned a lesson in the book. And we're going to continue to grow. I'm fighting guys that got 10, 12 years in the fight game. Here I am, I'm only like 4 or 5, and I'm constantly learning. Been in the UFC since I started, and I plan on ending here. And I just want to continue to thank my fans and everyone that's riding with me and support and believe. And keep believing because we're coming.
No doubt. Well, I appreciate your time, Corey, and I can't wait for your fight in Atlantic City, brother.
All right, well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm a huge fan of Corey, man. I think he's
Good dude, man. Really good dude.
He's a good dude, and he got skills. He has a lot of skills, and I feel he's underrated.
And he trains with just Mark Henry's crew, just the best of the best, man. Ronda Rousey made her wrestling debut, but not just her wrestling debut, not just her WWE debut, but she made it at WrestleMania, the spectacle of all spectacles. Personally, didn't watch it. I did see some highlights. I think, about 53 or 54 seconds, but I'll go first real quick here, I guess.
You go.
I'm happy that she's doing this because I think she's going to do well. I think she looked good from what I saw. Again, I didn't see the whole thing, but I think I did see enough. I think her wrestling was better than I thought it would be. I think she's been working hard at this, and I think it shows. I think she's going to be just fine. We don't know how her ability is going to be on the mic. I don't think her ability on the mic is going to be good, and I don't think it has to be good. Lesnar's is not good. Lesnar has a mouthpiece. Paul Heyman. I'm not saying she has to have a mouthpiece. I'm saying she probably will. Maybe it will be Paul Heyman. Maybe it won't be. I don't know. She doesn't have to get good in that area. If she just concentrates at what she can be good at, the physicality of it, I think she found the home. I think she's happy. I think it shows. I think she did way better than people thought she was going to do. I'm still not a fan of wrestling anymore because I'm a grown man, but I'm happy for her. I thought she did good.
I just real quick want to, anytime I can, to piss off wrestling fans, put fart noises all on WWE right now. All them fart noises. No, I'm joking. No, but really put them in. I think she's a really cool character. She's a silent heel. She doesn't need to talk. I don't even think get her a mouthpiece. Make her just the Grim Reaper of the WWE women's division. I think that's just, she comes in, she just whoops the daylights out of women, and then she leaves, and then she's quiet. She just points at you. That's a great character for her. I'm happy she's happy. I hope she finds happiness. I am very happy she brought women's MMA to the forefront. I'm very happy she's found something after MMA to keep collecting them checks, because I believe everybody should be able to make a living out here, and if you can make millions of dollars, good for you. I am tired of talking about her. If you're not in the UFC, you're not in the UFC, and you are doing something, unfortunately, and I'm going to say it, is fake. I'm going to respect you as a UFC champion, but honestly, after Ronda Rousey kind of doing this whole thing with me and a crybaby, I'm just I don't want to talk about her anymore. She's not with the UFC anymore, and she's doing something that's great for her, and I give her a round of applause. She seems fun, but I'm done.
Did you see what WWE superstar got caught getting fucked in the ass by Donald Duck?